Today's video is going to be about the LUMIX S9 and the LUMIX S5II. Before I purchased the LUMIX S9, I kind of debated back and forth on why I needed to pretty much purchase the S9 when I already had the LUMIX S5II. So I decided to make a video for anybody who might be like me and anybody out there who is just like me when it came to trying to decide between whether to buy the LUMIX S9 or the LUMIX S5II, or whether they just wanted to add the LUMIX S9 to their camera bag to work alongside the LUMIX S5II. To get straight into it, both of these cameras can take the exact same lens mount, which makes it very easy if you just want to use these two cameras on set or whatever you're filming, whether it's content. It would be easy for you to transfer these lenses from camera to camera. Your footage will be more guaranteed to look the same all across the board, depending on which lens that you shoot with. Both of these cameras have the real-time LUT feature, which is a popular feature for the LUMIX S9. With the S9, you get your own dedicated real-time LUT feature button. This was a big advertisement for the LUMIX S9 because not only is it a small camera, but you can shoot real-time LUT and you can transfer images or these videos straight to your phone and then upload them to social media using all the real-time LUTs from the LUMIX Lab app. On the LUMIX S5II, it does not have a dedicated button for the real-time LUT feature, but what you can do is assign one of the functions on the camera to serve as bringing up the LUTs that you have stored onto the camera. Both of these cameras can instantly transfer footage to the LUMIX Lab app through the MP4 light file. Both of these cameras take the same exact batteries, so whether you buy the LUMIX S5II or the LUMIX S9, you will have the same exact battery. So now that I got all of that out the way and why these cameras are pretty much the same, I want to get into how these cameras are different from each other. The LUMIX S5II has a much more durable body than the LUMIX S9. And that is because the LUMIX S5II is a lot bigger than the LUMIX S9. I actually enjoy holding the LUMIX S5II over my LUMIX S9, and that's just because it has a more grippier handle. With the LUMIX S9, I did have to purchase a handle, which was pretty much like a mini cage that went onto the bottom of the LUMIX S9, and I was able to then have a grip on the camera, which made it a lot easier to hold just because of its form factor. The LUMIX S5II has a weather sealed body, which means it's going to help protect against dust and moisture much better than the LUMIX S9. The LUMIX S5II takes a full-size HDMI, and the LUMIX S9 takes the micro HDMI. The LUMIX S5II also has dual SD card slots, and this basically means that you have a backup of everything that you're shooting. If you want to save everything that you're shooting and have that second copy saved onto the second memory card, the LUMIX S5II will allow you to utilize that feature. The LUMIX S9 only has one SD storage slot, so even though this is probably good enough for anybody out here who is just generally shooting, if you're thinking about doing professional work and you more than likely will want to have that backup, then I would go for the LUMIX S5II in my opinion. The LUMIX S5II is going to have an internal cooling fan. This is going to be important if you're shooting in very, very hot, sunny conditions. I actually happened to have the LUMIX S9 overheat on me when I was shooting one day. Granted, it was 100 degrees outside, and I'm not exaggerating. I was working with the client and we were shooting a commercial. I had the LUMIX S9 as my BTS camera, and I did get an error message when we were shooting. But again, it was hot. It was extremely hot outside, and that was the only time that I was able to prompt the error for overheating on the camera. I'm going to get into one of the big differences between both of these cameras, and that is a lack of a hot shoe. If you are unfamiliar with what a hot shoe is on your camera, this pretty much has connectors on your camera that will allow you to attach speed lights, will allow you to attach flash units, anything that can function through the camera. The LUMIX S9 has a cold shoe, which means you cannot use any additional accessories through this mount on the camera, except if you are mounting a microphone, where all you have to do is just screw it on top of the camera and then plug it into your audio jack. It doesn't require anything more than that. This may turn away a lot of people from this camera, but for me and what I saw myself using this camera for, it really didn't bother me. You could still get some really good use out of this camera. But for some people, they just may need an external flash for their camera, and low light just doesn't work for them. So in that case, I would recommend that you get the LUMIX S5II because of the hot shoe. This leads me into the second biggest difference between the both of these cameras, and that's going to be the lack of a viewfinder. The LUMIX S5II has an electronic viewfinder. The LUMIX S9 does not. I never complained about the lack of a viewfinder. And I'll be honest, I don't even think, like, I'm thinking about it now, and I don't even think I paid that much attention to the fact that it did not have a viewfinder until I started reading a lot of people's dissatisfaction with the fact that the LUMIX S9 did not have a viewfinder. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know, I've been using the Canon G7X Mark II for years. I still have that camera. It works really well. And I never saw myself just saying, dang, I wish this camera had a viewfinder on it. It would make it 20 times better. But I get it. Some people really, you know, want to be able to use the viewfinder, and it's really, really hard to shoot when it's sunny outside and all you have is the LCD on the back of the camera. If I was someone who was shooting professional photography, shooting a lot of high quality content for social media, I would go for the LUMIX S5II just because it offers a little bit more professional features. If you're someone who's constantly on the go, you're traveling, you're shooting content for yourself majority of the time, while also accepting those paying clients and those other opportunities, I would probably go for the LUMIX S9 just because this camera is going to be everything that the LUMIX S5II offers, minus those additional things that someone might need if they're pretty much doing this full time. They're out in harsh weather conditions. A lot of times people will watch reviews like this about cameras that might have just got released, cameras that are well within thousands and thousands of dollars, and think that just because it costs that much, that's the one they're supposed to be buying. But a lot of the time when we're creating these videos, if you have a good story, a lot of people are going to watch your video. And that's why I wouldn't debate too hard about which one of these cameras to buy, because no matter whichever one you purchase, you're going to get some amazing content. You're going to get some amazing quality out of both of these cameras. I can't believe the image that comes out of the LUMIX S9. I've pretty much turned it into my primary vlogging camera when I'm out and about. I love the size of the LUMIX S9. I do happen to prefer the size of it over my LUMIX S5II, which is pretty much why I end up grabbing my LUMIX S9 when I'm running and I just want to shoot some quick content over my LUMIX S5II majority of the time. I hope that this review helped any of you out there trying to make a decision. If I left out any features between both of these cameras, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I am sure that this will help anybody out there who is trying to make this decision. If you have both of these cameras, leave it in the comments for me. Let me know if you prefer the LUMIX S5II or the LUMIX S9. And if you're somebody who is trying to watch this video to make a decision on one or the other, leave it in the comments for me also which decision or which camera you decided to go with. I'm always interested now because I know how similar these cameras are. So I'm interested in whether people choose, you know, the LUMIX S5II or if they choose the LUMIX S9. As always, I'm Jessica, and I will catch you guys on the next video.